Today on our 2019 Ford Transit T350, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the eTrailer 2-inch Class 3 hitch receiver. Something to think about if you are going to use this for towing, you need to put your vehicle in the fit guide on our website to grab a wiring kit for either a 4-pole or a 7-pole. That's going to just deliver the power to your trailer so all your lights and functions work. If you are hauling some heavier type of trailers that have electric brakes, also take a look at some of the brake controllers we have for your Ford Transit, because that's going to save your brakes of your Transit and utilize the brakes on your trailer to slow you down. If you're planning on using this hitch receiver for more recreational stuff like a cargo carrier or a bike rack, this is going to be a great option because it is a Class 3. All of those 2-inch accessories are going to work. What I do suggest though, when it comes to the accessories, if you do plan on carrying as many people as the Transit can haul, definitely grab a cargo carrier, just because you can put all that luggage out on the back and not crowd up the inside of your Transit. I would recommend a roof rack, but the Transit is kind of tall. It's gonna be a little difficult to get all that stuff up there and take it all down. If you're hauling a trailer, we're gonna have safety chain loops that'll fit the big boys like this. It'll snap right there, and it still snaps into place, which is good. But also for those smaller ones that you may have, like this one, it's also going to go around pretty easy. It still have plenty of movement, so it's not gonna be too fixed whenever you get it in there. So it doesn't really matter what you have on your trailer. We gave you big safety chain loops, so all types of hooks are gonna fit. This is a Class 3 hitch. The gross trailer weight is going to be 6,000 pounds, but if you do want to use a weight distribution system on your trailer, this will go all the way up to 8,000 pounds of gross trailer weight. With the tongue weight, the weight distribution isn't going to change it any. The overall tongue weight is going to be a maximum of 900 pounds, which is quite a lot. All your recreational accessories, you're not going to run into any issues, but just double check your trailers before you hook up and start hauling. Here are some useful measurements. We're gonna measure from the inside top lip to the ground. That's gonna be 14 inches. That'll let you know if you need to get a rise or drop for your trailers if you plan on hauling. The next one is from the center of the hitch pin hole to the closest part of our bumper. That's gonna be 7.5 inches. That'll let you know if those folding accessories are gonna be able to fold up without any extensions. Of all the options on our site when it comes to hitches, they all pretty much install the same. It's not that difficult, so that's why I'm here. Stick around, watch the installation process, and you'll be able to do it by yourself in your garage or your driveway pretty easily. So stick around for all that. We're gonna be using 3 holes on both the driver and the passenger side. So on the driver's side, I'm gonna show you. One is gonna be for our carriage bolt and the little plate that comes with our kit. And then these 2 right here, these are not going to be threaded. So you'll take your little bolt that doesn't look fully circular. It's not a defect. This is a self-tapping, not a self-tapping bolt, but it's going to tap our threads in. So what we want to do is you're going to take that bolt on these 2 on both sides. And what we want to do is take it, we want to get it going with our hand a little bit. It's going to be super hard to kind of get it to stay there. But the whole goal with this is to keep it as perpendicular to the frame as possible, so as straight as possible. We can go ahead and start to do our best and thread this in. Slow and steady wins the race. And just making sure that it stays nice and straight, giving a little bit of pressure to it will help. Eventually it's going to catch and start to thread those in. It's starting to get a little harder, so that's good. We're relatively straight. So we'll just keep going until most of this bolt is all threaded in. Once we get it started, if you really wanted to, you can take an impact to kind of drill it up a little bit further if it's getting a little hard on you. But just make sure we get a couple threads done by hand for sure. Once we have them all tapped, what you want to do is take some lubricant or some penetrating oil, and kind of spray it on in there a little bit. Take your toothbrush and clean out those threads a little bit, and also kind of clean off the bolt that we ran in and brought back out. Smart thing to do is to kind of place them somewhere to where the bolts that were ran in on this hole is going to be the same one we put in later for the install. I highly recommend doing that. So take that toothbrush, take a little shop towel or something, and clean it out the best you can. For the last hole on both sides, so the one back behind the two that we already just tapped, so we need to get our hardware in. We do give you a fish wire in the kit, so I'm going to show you how to do that. You don't really need it for this, but I'm going to show you. You're going to take the coiled part, we're going to go through the hole like that. We're going to take our little bracket here, we'll put that in, and then we're going to take our bolt and thread this in like that. It's very satisfying. And we want to get all the threads on there just in case it falls off. And once that's done, we can pull this wire through, jiggle it around a little bit, and then we can take this off. We'll do that on the same side. So this is the driver's side. Over here on the passenger side, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because of the exhaust, but not too difficult. So right here is where we're going to go on the passenger side. This is going to be a little bit easier with a friend. So we're just going to take it up, get it into place, making sure not to knock those bolts up and into the frame. You can also keep that fish wire on there. We're going to take our nuts included with the kit and thread those on by hand. I like to get them nice and tight with my hand so the hitch kind of stays up. And after that, you can do the rest by yourself. Thanks, Connor. We want to take our nut that's included with the kit and thread this on. I like to get it nice and tight by hand so the hitch isn't wobbling up here for the rest of the bolts. Now we want to take those bolts and put them in the threaded holes that we made earlier. I suggest just doing it by hand for now, getting it sucked up. I just don't like using power tools on this, especially since they're fresh threads. Just want to make sure it goes in there nice and tight. So we'll do that by hand until the hitch is nice and flush to the frame. And then we can do that for the rest of our bolts. This next step, you're going to need a torque wrench to torque all these bolts down to the specifications in your instructions. We're going to need a 15 millimeter for these two, and then the bigger one, we're going to need a 19 millimeter. And that's pretty much it for our look at the etrailer 2-inch hitch receiver on our 2019 Ford Transit T350.